Good afternoon. You're watching NTV at One. My name is Olive Burrows. We start with a story we've been staying on top of most of the morning. Kiambu Governor Ferdinand Waititu has been arrested by the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission detectives and taken to their headquarters at Integrity House. EACC detectives this morning raided his homes in Runda and Garden Estate. The governor was then whisked out by the detectives who have been investigating misappropriation of funds in Kiambu County and had served his government with notices of the investigation earlier this month. Detectives took bundles of documents from Waititu's home during the raid, which started early this morning. Our reporter Kennedy Mureithi is on the beat, and we join him now for the latest. Kennedy, what's transpired in the last few minutes?
Well, Olive, the building at the EACC and the revolving doors here have today played host to Kiambu Governor Ferdinand Waititu, who not so long ago was whisked in by a team of detectives who the whole morning for about 6 hours were at his Runda home as they tried to scrum through, trying to find documentation with regards to the spending of about 2.1 billion shillings, which is questionable expenditure, and was flagged off by the Auditor General. And this has actually been alleged to the detectives. Today morning, they not only looked at his house in Runda, but also in house at the Garden Estate, as you've rightly said, and they also moved into looking into his cars because as we were leaving, the detectives who are at his house were able to scrum through his car, and some of the documents that were stashed in the back seat were able to be whisked away together with him. They were carted away, that is what I mean. And this afternoon at about 12:45, he was able to come into the EACC for another round of questioning by another team of detectives before he is taken probably to the Milimani Law Courts in the afternoon. But that is not something that we can be able to confirm. What we've been also able to confirm from some of the officers who are at his home is that Governor Waititu was very cooperative with regards to the information that he was being sought. And today morning at around 5:30 o'clock in the morning, the detectives walked in to his compound, that is house number 110 at the Kencom Sacco Homes, and they were able to wait until 6 o'clock in the morning, where they were able to go in with a court order and ransack the house. We were able to peep into the house for a few times, and we could see Governor Waititu writing a statement. You'll remember that police officers and more so detectives get you through that rigorous process of writing this information, not just once, but a couple of times, just to make sure that you do not, to make sure that your story is in line with everything that you've been saying. What is the question one might ask is that Kiambu Governor Ferdinand Waititu is also facing questions with regards to the car sober program that was started by his administration, and we do understand that there is money that was appropriated into that program without the approval of the county assembly, and they were just rushing. And yesterday we do understand that about 774 million shillings in terms of putting money into the budget was passed by the county assembly yesterday. So this money was spent without prior authorization from the assembly, and that is one of the audit queries that was even raised by the Auditor General. So these questions with regards to Kiambu Governor are the ones that he is supposed to answer to, as he is the head of that particular county. So there are other 15 officers, probably accounting officers, who are also being sought and whose houses were raided this morning by the EACC. So the EACC probably is building up a case, or has been building up a case, so that by the time they are arresting Governor Waititu, they have a watertight case, and the only thing they need from him is probably his responses before they present him before a court of law. So that is what has been happening since morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, where they went to his Runda home, where they did find him together with some of his family members, and they were able to ransack the house in an effort to get some documentation. Earlier on, as they were taking him into the car, as he was brought in a Nissan Matatu, just like the one that people travel with, not his usual luxurious car, that they were able to also go away with some documentation. Whether he had been prepped up for this, we do not know, but the kind of documentation that we saw getting out of his house is not even a carton full. So whether that information is useful to the detectives is something that we'll be waiting for them to tell us when Governor Waititu will be whisked away, probably to be taken to Milimani or into one of the cells that we have here in Nairobi. But what we have seen is that Governor Waititu is already within the precincts of the EACC building. He's been taken in for another round of questioning, and when he comes out, we'll be able to hear what his words are. In Mombasa, we've also seen that Governor Oparanya has been able to say that whatever is happening is just show, and the EACC does not have to bring in these governors in the manner that they are bringing them in. The only thing they need to do is just to call the governors to come to the EACC to record statements, but they don't have to accompany it with the drama that is being seen. Olive, back to you in studio.
Thank you for that brief, Kennedy Mureithi, who's together with Robert Gishira behind the camera. As Kennedy Mureithi said, it's been quite the dramatic morning for the Kiambu governor, Ferdinand Waititu. And the defense statements for him are already coming in. The chairman of the Council of Governors, Wycliffe Oparanya, has spoken against the manner in which the EACC officers have raided Ferdinand Waititu's home and arrested him. He responded from Mombasa even before Waititu was delivered to the EACC headquarters.
The anti-corruption. If I'm someone, I would appear and explain an issue instead of being raided. And unfortunately, things happen. Furthermore, where can a governor run? Where can a governor run? He has been elected to represent people. Whether you do what, you will remain there. There will be no governor who will run away. But we also don't condemn corruption. We must make sure, as governors, that our financial statement, what we do, is free of corruption. And we support the president's call on eradicating corruption in this country. We have issued this statement severally, and we will continue to condemn those people who are practicing corruption, because corruption has affected development in this country. We will be far as a country, but because of corruption, we are where we are.
You have just addressed where can a governor run to? That's a question posed by Wycliffe Oparanya, the chairman of the Council of Governors. On to security matters, Marakwet East residents are asking the national government to intervene and help end ongoing tribal clashes between the Marakwet and Pokot communities. This comes in the wake of clashes between the two communities last night that saw one person killed and brings the number of those who have lost their lives along the Pokot-Marakwet border since February to 11. NTV's Lois Wangoi reports.
These are the desperate movements of women and children to safety. We meet with them at Takar village, catching a breather. They have walked all night fleeing clashes between the Pokot and the Marakwet communities.
Wenye walikuja jana kuchukua ng'ombe kwa ng'ambio ya Virirgut. Sasa tuko sahi kuhangaika kwa barabara ya Takar na watoto yetu karibu wanakufia tu kwa njani barabarani.
The villages of Kapkao, Biriro and Kamalol villages remain empty. They were the battlefield where one person was killed. He was among a group of the neighboring Pokot community that raided here.
Zinamwambia Matanga alete saguru ya kutosha. Matiangi alete saguru kwa lapo nachunga nje yetu. Kabiego sublocation.
Schools here remain closed. Teachers and pupils have also fled in search of safety. This is the third day without learning. The conflict between the Pokot and the Marakwet communities is centered around fights for water points, pasture and livestock.
Jana nimepiga simu mingi, nimeongea na IG, nimeongea na county commissioner na wale wote. Na mimi nilikuwa natarajia nikifika hapa leo ningekuwa nakutana tu na askari kila kona nimeenda.
Even after such security meetings, the Pokot-Marakwet clashes have escalated from the month of February.
Watu wamehama kabisa, hakuna mtu kwa Tenderwa, Kamele, Kabero, mpaka ya Pokot na Marakwet.
Away from the scramble for water and pasture points, cattle rustling and banditry here has been attributed to politics. In the public eye, politicians from both Pokot and Marakwet preach peace, while some are accused of influencing and funding cattle rustling in secret for political mileage. Lois Wangoi, NTV, in the county of Elgeyo Marakwet.
Foreign Affairs Principal Secretary Ambassador Macharia Kamau has denied claims that 3 senior Somalia government officials were refused entry into Kenya because of a diplomatic row. But as he said that, he also stated that Kenya deserves respect from its neighbor while the maritime dispute is being resolved. Macharia made those remarks during a meeting with the African Union Technical Evaluation Team that is evaluating Kenya's bid to host the Africa Continental Free Trade Secretariat.
It's an immigration incident. It's not a diplomatic row. And sometimes for reasons that have to do with the work of immigration or for security reasons or for whatever other reasons, you can be denied a visa. Yeah? And you're told your visa is in administration. You go and wait at home. Nobody calls the US mission or the UK mission and said, why are you having a diplomatic row with Kenya because Minister X or MP Y was not able to travel? We as people who love our country should look at our history and ask ourselves, what has been our history with these countries? What have we done for our neighbors? We have been hosts of our neighbors in their moments of need. We just need to understand each other, that they need to respect our territorial integrity, and we need to respect that they have needs that we need to try and avail for them.
4 siblings from Cheplel village in Kapsoit Ward, Ainamoi sub-county in Kericho County have been rushed to Kenyatta National Hospital for further treatment after a pot of cooking changa cracked, scalding them. Their home is a changa brewing den. The children from Cheplel village were asleep near the fireplace when the hot liquid splashed on them. According to their mother, the incident occurred at 3 a.m. after she placed a changa pot on the fire. It burst, spilling boiling molasses onto the children. Kericho County Health Services Department Chief Officer Dr. David Ekuwam said the minors aged between 3 months and 6 years suffered over 40% body burns. They have been transferred to Kenyatta National Hospital. Area leaders have also demanded answers from the county commissioner as to why there are still high rates of changa brewing in the county, which they claim have claimed more than 3 lives in the recent past.
We received 4 patients yesterday from a peripheral hospital, that is Kenegut, presented with a history of severe burns following being burnt by hot liquids. The percentage of the burns were high, more than 20%.
We're asking ourselves very, very hard questions this morning that, is the government asleep or something is wrong somewhere? Are we supposed to be here? Are we supposed to be seeing children, innocent children, suffering, writhing in pain because of someone who was doing an illegal business? What is the work of the chiefs?
The decision by Kakamega Governor Wycliffe Oparanya, who we heard from a little bit earlier on the situation facing the Kiambu Governor, to form a 10-member team to oversee the revival of Mumias Sugar has elicited mixed reactions a day after. We now join Zacchaeus Mwasame for an update on what exactly those reactions are. Mwasame, what do people have to say about the decision?
Thank you, Olive. Here in Kakamega, the reactions are actually mixed, and we have varied reactions from residents and farmers and activists some who are saying that the stand by Governor Oparanya is uncalled for, and because it's not within the law, it's not within his jurisdiction, and he has overstepped the authority. But to just understand this, we are joined with some of the farmers in a quick one. Just come over. Gentlemen, tell us what's your name, and then do you think the step by Kakamega Governor Wycliffe Oparanya is applaudable?
My name is Boniface Manda. I'm chairman of a civil society by the name Bunge la Haki, Usawa na Maendeleo. I want to say that I'm totally disappointed by the way the governor is treating matters Mumias Sugar Company. And I want to state that Mumias Sugar Company is actually the backbone of the economy of Kakamega County. And it's disturbing to find a whole governor purporting to say that he's taking over Mumias Sugar Company, and yet Mumias Sugar Company is a listed company on the National Stock Exchange. And we have proper procedures of taking over a company like Mumias Sugar Company. So we are saying that we are tired with these political gimmicks. We have seen leaders coming to Mumias playing politics, and yet people around Mumias, farmers, and all stakeholders are really suffering. Look at Matungu right now. We have a problem of insecurity in Matungu, and this is due to poverty that has actually stricken our people. And we want to tell the governor that he must be very serious about revival of Mumias. Why am I saying this? It is because we are aware that as per the constitution, agriculture is a devolved function. And we know that it actually falls within the powers of the governor to make sure that Mumias Sugar Company, which is lacking raw material, has enough raw material. Because I'm saying this, Governor Oparanya, when he purportedly came here yesterday and declared that he has taken over Mumias Sugar Company, as we are speaking right now, there is nothing going on. We don't have his officers on the ground. He had said that he would bring security officers here. We have not seen security officers here. He said that he was going to bring the manager to run Mumias. We have not seen such a thing. So we are saying Governor Oparanya must stop playing politics with the Mumias Sugar Company. Okay. We want him to start doing what is able to do to revive Mumias Sugar Company.
Thank you so much, Boniface. Maybe just some seconds. Quick one.
Yeah, I'm Desterio Kumu, Executive Director Center Forum. I think, as my colleague has said, our Governor Oparanya, we love him. He has done development in Kakamega County. But I think on matters sugarcane, he has not done well. For a start, when he came to power in 2013, he formed a task force, a sugar task force, to look into issues bedeviling the sugar industry. They came up with recommendations and a report. Up to today, nothing has happened. Today, he is the chairman, he's the co-chair of a national sugar task force formed by His Excellency the President. They have been there for about 3 months. We yet to see the report coming out. We don't know the recommendations they have put in that report concerning sugar industries and specifically Mumias Sugar. Now, today he has come to form another task force for MCAs. I think it's not right.
Thank you so much. Those are some of the sentiments here from Kakamega. Olive, as you can hear, it is something that is expected to take some time, the discussion in people's mouths. But we will keep an eye and then we'll be updating you as things unfold. Thank you very much.
Now we cross over to Mombasa, which has been experiencing heavy rains and as a result of that, flooding. Kevin Mutai, how accurate are reports that one person has died as a result of the flooding?
Well, we're coming to you live from Kadzandani in Mombasa, and we received reports that one person was swept away by flash floods yesterday. And while after his house was carried away by the floods, we also got information that his body was recovered this morning, and police are gathering information surrounding that to be able to confirm if indeed he died because of flash floods. But as you can see, currently it is raining heavily. It has been raining. This has been the situation from as early as 3 a.m. The downpour has been experienced in most parts of the coastal region, and it's been 3 days of heavy downpour in Mombasa. We are assessing the situation. We'll be going across the county in various places. We are told that the most affected places include Kadzandani, Kwabulo, some areas of Kisauni, Nyali, and the situation is as you see on your screen. Those are the houses. We are also receiving reports that some of the families have been forced to relocate from their places of residence for fear of the flash floods and of course evading danger. We've also had fears that some of them are fearing that because of the flash floods and the increasing or rather the continuous rainfall that is being experienced across the region might lead to some diseases such as cholera. And we had the county government yesterday warning residents of Mombasa that they need to make sure that they prevent themselves from such kind of incidences. But Olive, we are following up on the case, and we will be updating our viewers on what will be happening here in Mombasa on matters floods. Back to you, Olive.
Kevin, do try and keep dry. A 47-year-old man was arrested by Kilimani police officers on Wednesday for allegedly defiling his 13-year-old granddaughter in Kibera, Nairobi. The man is said to have continually defiled his granddaughter and asked her to remain silent about the matter, threatening to punish her. The girl is now 3 months pregnant. The girl narrates that her grandfather, who is a well-known man in Kibera, has been preying on her when her grandmother steps out of their home. The girl says she reported the incident to some of her family members, but they threatened her and brushed her off. According to the Nubian Rights Forum, defilement cases in Kibera are on the rise, and so far they have arrested 5 men who have been accused of defiling and molesting children in the area. The suspects will be arraigned at the Milimani Law Courts tomorrow.
Grandfather yangu alianza kunifanyia vitu mbaya mbaya tangu January last year mpaka huko. Sisi tunakuanga tu nyumbani, lakini yeye mnyanya anakuanga amesafiri ama kuna kazi yake ya nje. Sasa nikimwambia ananiambia, nikisema atanipiga.
Na wametuambia tu hii kesi hakuna mahali yenye itaenda. Sasa sisi tunafanya so that huyu apate justice, so that next time hata huyo perpetrator mwenyewe asifanyie msichana mwingine, kwa sababu hizi cases ziko mingi sana Kibera.
After that disturbing report, I think we could all use some good news, and we have some good news for you. Senior NTV Features reporter Rose Wangoi will receive the prestigious Knight International Journalism Award, which is organized by the International Center for Journalists. The decorated journalist will receive the award during the ICFJ Annual Anniversary Awards dinner, which will be held in Washington, D.C. in November. The experienced Wangoi focuses on telling societal changing stories through her powerful documentaries. She covers every corner of the country to give the forgotten and ignored population a voice. A Serbian journalist will also receive an award for his work in crime and corruption reporting. The ICFJ Anniversary Awards dinner is a 600-person event that seeks to recognize journalists whose work has made an outstanding impact on society. We celebrate Rose Wangoi. Her win is our win. The Nation Media Group has signed a partnership deal with Grammy Award-winning reggae group Morgan Heritage for their upcoming Tomorrow's Leaders Festival. The event will be held on the 8th of June at the Kasarani Stadium as part of a global initiative to raise funds for youth leadership programs across Africa and Jamaica. The event will also see notable musicians such as Morgan Heritage, Diamond Platinums, Alaine and others perform. The objective is to support the youth in order to secure the future of the world as a way of giving back to the society. On the international scene, South African lawmakers on Wednesday re-elected Cyril Ramaphosa as the nation's president 2 weeks after the ruling ANC party returned to power in legislative elections. MPs from the African National Congress, which won 230 out of 400 seats on May the 8th, chose the head of state in the parliament's first post-election sitting.
Under South Africa's 1996 constitution, electors vote for a party and the party selects individuals who go to the National Assembly, which then chooses a head of state. The ANC won the ballot with 57.5% of the vote, its thinnest majority since the end of apartheid.
In one message, one language, collaboration, working together, building a beautiful country together. So tonight I sleep very peacefully, elated that the message that emanated from this parliament is one that the people of our country want to hear. So I'm a glad and happy person today.
The 66-year-old Ramaphosa is a trade unionist who played a prominent part in the struggle against white minority rule before becoming a successful businessman after the end of apartheid. He will be sworn in on Saturday and is expected to name a deputy president and cabinet at the weekend.
We're warning you, President. We have not elected the Ruperts yet. We have not elected the Oppenheimers. Listen to the collective wisdom of people you are elected with, not white monopoly capital. It will not be here to defend you. Once you listen to white monopoly capital, you must know that you are likely not to finish your term.
That I know that when those interests are about shielding those who need to take accountability for the time that has come before us, for those who have looted from our nation. I wish to say, sir, we will be holding you to account that those members who have looted from our country actually see jail.
He will serve his first full 5-year term since taking over last year from Jacob Zuma, who was forced out over a series of corruption scandals.
Ramaphosa. In Guinea-Bissau, thousands of supporters of the ruling party, the African Independence Party of Guinea and Cape Verde, that is PAIGC, protested in the capital, Bissau. The protesters are calling on President Jose Mario Vaz to nominate party leader Domingos Simoes Pereira as Prime Minister after an election victory back in March. It had been hoped that the March 10 vote would draw a line under a crisis that erupted in August 2015 when Vaz sacked Pereira, his then Prime Minister. Despite coming top in the election, winning 47 of Parliament's 102 seats and 46% of the popular vote, PAIGC has not yet been given the chance to form a coalition government. Police were posted outside the presidential palace and nearby roads were closed to traffic. Wednesday's protest coincided with a new 3-day strike of public and utility sector workers over unpaid wages and working conditions. Staying in the election theme, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi looks on course for a major victory in the world's biggest election, with early trends suggesting his Hindu nationalist party BJP will win a bigger majority than they did in 2014. After 2.5 hours of counting figures from the Election Commission, it showed Modi's BJP party in the lead after it won 283 seats out of 542. The rival Congress is won just about 51. Rahul Gandhi of the Congress party, who is hoping to become the 4th member of the Gandhi-Nehru dynasty to lead India, denied claims of exit polls, dismissing it as propaganda. In the United Kingdom, British Prime Minister Theresa May is staring at the prospect of her political career coming to an inglorious end after her final attempt to save her unpopular Brexit deal was met with condemnation in Parliament. This comes after...
national men's football team Harambee Stars will play Democratic Republic of Congo in Madrid on the 15th of June, replacing the earlier planned match between Kenya and Gambia in Paris on the same day that has since been shelved. Now, in the plan, Kenya will play Madagascar in Paris on the 7th of June, then travel to Madrid for the tie on the 15th, before returning to conclude their camp in Paris ahead of their departure for Cairo, Egypt. In the Spanish capital, Stars will be hoping for a third successive win over the Leopards after beating the Leopards 1-0 in Kinshasa in September 2016 and 2-1 in Machakos in March of 2017, and that was courtesy of a Michael Olunga double. 16 of the players called up by Migné, mostly the local-based players, have already reported to camp at the Kasarani Stadium. The remaining players will link up with their teammates in phases, with Tottenham midfielder Wanyama expected to join his teammates on the 3rd of June in Paris, a day after the UEFA Champions League final. AFC Leopards could move up to 9th in the Kenyan Premier League with victory over bottom of the table Mount Kenya United in Machakos in a match that kicks off at 3 p.m. Leopards have been struggling recently and losing 3 matches and drawing 2 in their last 5 matches, while Mount Kenya are preparing for life in the National Super League following a dismal season that was blighted by player strikes due to unpaid salaries and allowances. Also at 3 p.m, Tusker FC host Zoo FC in Ruaraka. A win for Tusker could move the Brewers as high as 5th, depending on goal difference, while Zoo desperately need the points as they try to avoid relegation. And just very quickly, congratulations to Hassan Oktay, the Gor Mahia coach, who has been named Coach of the Month for April. Now, the 2022 World Cup in Qatar will be held with 32 participating teams and not an expanded
that brings NTV at 1 to a close. But rest assured, should there be any developments as far as the questioning of Kiambu Governor Ferdinand Waititu is concerned, or any other breaking news stories are concerned, be sure that we will bring them to you. As for now, enjoy the rest of